hello, how are you? It's not too bad outside today, is it? So go ahead and come on in. Still chilly. Let's get you warmed up right away. I've got your coat and boots. And here's a blanket on your favorite chair. Would you like a slice of chocolate raspberry loaf? It's divine. And here's a nice cup of coffee with extra cream. All right, you ready for chapter 3? Wonderful. So when we last left Alice, she and the mouse were heading to the shore of the pool they were swimming in. They were indeed a queer-looking party that assembled on the bank. The birds with draggled feathers, the animals with their fur clinging close to them, and all dripping wet, cross, and uncomfortable. The first question, of course, was how to get dry again. They had a consultation about this, and after a few minutes it seemed quite natural to Alice to find herself talking with them, as if she had known them all her life. Indeed, she had quite a long argument with the Lory, who at last turned sulky and would only say, "I am older than you, and must know better." And this Alice would not allow without knowing how old it was, and as the Lory positively refused to tell its age, there was no more to be said. At last the mouse, who seemed to be a person of authority among them, called out, "Sit down, all of you, and listen to me. I'll soon make you dry enough." They all sat down at once, in a large ring, with the mouse in the middle. Alice kept her eyes anxiously fixed on it, for she felt sure she would catch a bad cold if she did not get dry very soon. "Ahem," said the mouse with an important air. "Are you all ready? This is the driest thing I know. If you please." William the Conqueror, whose cause was favored by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders, and had been of late much accustomed to usurpation and conquest. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria. "Ugh," said the Lory with a shiver. "I beg your pardon," said the mouse, frowning, but very politely. "Did you speak?" "Not I," said the Lory hastily. "I thought you did," said the mouse. "I proceed. Edwin and Morcar, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria, declared for him, and even Stigand, the patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury, found it advisable—" "Found what?" said the duck. "Found it," the mouse replied rather crossly. "Of course you know what it means." "I know what it means well enough when I find a thing," said the duck. "It's generally a frog or a worm. The question is, what did the Archbishop find?" The mouse did not notice this question, but hurriedly went on. "Found it advisable to go with Edgar Atheling to meet William and offer him the crown. William's conduct at first was moderate, but the insolence of his Normans— How are you getting on now, my dear?" it continued, turning to Alice as it spoke. "As wet as ever," said Alice in a melancholy tone. "It doesn't seem to dry me at all." "In that case," said the dodo solemnly, rising to its feet, "I move that the meeting adjourn for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies." "Speak English," said the eaglet. "I don't know the meaning of half those long words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either." And then the eaglet bent down its head to hide a smile. Some of the other birds tittered audibly. "What I was going to say," said the dodo in an offended tone, "was that the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus race." "What is a caucus race?" said Alice. Not that she much wanted to know, but the dodo had paused, as if it thought that somebody ought to speak, and no one else seemed to be inclined to say anything. "Why," said the dodo, "the best way to explain it is to do it. And as you might like to try the thing yourself some winter day, I will tell you how the dodo managed it. First, it marked out a race course in a sort of circle. The exact shape doesn't matter, it said. And then all the party were placed along the course, here and there. There was no 1, 2, 3 and away, but they began running when they liked, and left off when they liked, so that it was not easy to know when the race was over. When they had been running half an hour or so, and were quite dry again, the dodo suddenly called out, "The race is over!" And they all crowded round it, panting and asking, "But who has won?" This question the dodo could not answer without a great deal of thought, and it sat for a long time with one finger pressed upon its forehead, the position in which you usually see Shakespeare in the pictures of him, while the rest waited in silence. At last the dodo said, "Everybody has won, and all must have prizes." "But who is to give the prizes?" quite a chorus of voices asked. "Why, she, of course," said the dodo, pointing to Alice with one finger, and the whole party at once crowded round her, calling out in a confused way, "Prizes! Prizes!" Alice had no idea what to do, and in despair she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out a box of comfits. Luckily, the salt water had not got into it, and handed them round as prizes. There was exactly one apiece all round. "But she must have a prize herself, you know," said the mouse. "Of course," the dodo replied very gravely. "What else have you got in your pocket?" he went on, turning to Alice. "Only a thimble," said Alice sadly. "Hand it over here," said the dodo. Then they all crowded round her once more, while the dodo solemnly presented the thimble, saying, "We beg your acceptance of this elegant thimble." And when it had finished this short speech, they all cheered. This story, you never know what will happen next. Oh, have you any plans for the day after tomorrow? I've never done much for Valentine's Day myself, but I do love seeing the red, pink, and white decorations. And of course, as a songwriter, I can't resist a love song. I've written a ton of love songs and covered a ton of love songs. But one of the first ones I wrote was Exceed My Expectations. And I still feel like that really, I don't know, it really sums up that romantic feeling for me. Have you heard it? Here, can I play it for you? Let me play it for you.
I kind of like the thought you're an ice cream cone that I have yet to lick. I like the thought that you're an apple that I have yet to pick. But though I'm loving all this sweet anticipation, I'm ready for you to exceed my expectations. You're like the first day that I got my favorite blankie, or like the first time Bonnie and Clyde held up a bank. He said, though I'm enjoying all this sweet anticipation, I'm ready for you to exceed my expectations. And there's a line of thought says Christmas Eve's much better than Christmas Day. It's so much better before all the secrets are given away. But though I'm all for the night before and stockings yet unscented, I'm ready to be the girl you take for granted. And there's a line of thought says coffee smells much better than the taste. And the way they talk, you think the rest of the cup just goes to waste. But though I'm all for lighting coffee-scented candles, should I choose to, I'm ready to be the girl that you could use to. You're like a brand new pair of jeans yet to be worn in. But you know the best jeans are the jeans that look like the jeans that you were born in. Though I'm loving all this sweet anticipation, I'm ready for you to exceed my expectations. Come on, exceed my expectations.
Now, if you ever see me live, you should know I almost always, pretty much almost always start off my show with that song. Oh, do you have a favorite love poem? Like love songs, there are a lot of love poems. I guess we feel really creative when we're in love. But I was trying to decide which love poem is my favorite. And I honestly couldn't decide. But I thought the poem that comes to mind the most when I think of romantic poems would have to be Shakespeare's Sonnet 116, the one from Sense and Sensibility. You know it? It's one of my favorite films. Let me read that sonnet for you. It's so beautiful. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is a star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Well, thank you for sharing this pre-Valentine's Day afternoon with me, snugged up with coffee and cake. Here's your coat and boots, all dry and toasty warm, and I have a little thermos with coffee for you to keep you warm on your walk home. Thank you so much for coming by. You know you're always welcome here at Lantana Cottage. I love you. See you soon.